Loose Gadgies, episode 69.
Is it, dude?
Now, dude, now, technically, I should have started season 2 at the end of December because that was our anniversary. But there's only a couple left. I want to get it all the way to 69, so I thought, got to do it. Has to be done. So here we are, 69, dude. And today, as promised, all about exercising, exercise myths, approach to exercise. Done the research.
Yeah, it's sort of a conclusion of the
Is
January. What?
like,
What was that?
like resolutions,
That's it. Yeah,
life-changing events as of
yeah,
January, and
yeah,
always starting on a Monday. That
yeah.
kind of thing. Aye, it's a nice way to wrap it up because we've already done the alcohol,
Food.
the diet, with all the food habits, and this is the sort of wrapper around that, isn't it? It's the next thing on
Yeah,
people's lists usually, and it's going to be. I think we're going to dispel some of the myths and the thoughts people have on what works, what doesn't work, what you should and shouldn't do, all of that, and perhaps you might find that it's less work or less. There's less in it than you think. So positive
yeah,
message by the end. Positive message.
yeah.
So
And
I've got you some questions as well.
I'm looking
Made
forward to
some
them. I've got.
questions.
Yeah, we'll click through them as we go through. But I think
Aye,
we've over the last couple of weeks we've started with, and I'm going to say it again because I like saying it. The heaviest weight in the gym is the door. But
it is.
what does it actually mean? We know what it means. It means the
Yeah,
issue is up here, isn't
it's
it?
in your head, isn't it?
Yeah,
Making the choice to actually walk through it
yeah.
and
And
commit.
and especially, what are we now? I mean, we can do that. We're at sort of 21st of January. We're 3 weeks in, and basically, I think you said last week is that the rush to the gym finished after the 8th of January, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's quite down in the gym in the last 2 weeks again. Although all of those new members are now paying for something they're not using. Um,
Aye.
so it's that life gets in the way, and I mean, I had a method that worked for me, and my method was uh, get the hard stuff out of the way first thing in the morning. So if the gym was required, the gym was being done first thing in the morning. I didn't really, because we probably know that, in our busy work schedules, you get, oh, I finish at 5, I go to the gym 5 till 6, great. And then, of course, the last meeting flips over for half an hour. Right, there's no point in going now.
Yeah.
So,
It's spoilt me plan. It's not part of me plan.
yeah.
Where you gonna go? I mean, something
Well, it's not point.
your mum left an interesting comment on
Oh, yeah.
on
What was that?
last week's episode, and what I replied to her kind of fits into what you've just been saying there. So she said, "Look, um, my only form of exercise is walking, and it's been very noticeable that on holiday in the sun, my ability to walk is greatly increased and helps to balance my intake of treats and local delicacies." Well, interesting.
Yeah.
I usually come home with just a couple of pounds gained, which is easily manageable. At home, I love to cook, variety, but it's always on plan. It took many, many years to get to this point, but it's never too late to wake up and smell the coffee, and that's a black Americano,
Me.
and it's sin free, right? So sin with a Y.
Yeah.
So I said,
Because
look,
you don't want Jesus involved with watching your coffee.
no. You don't want Jesus in your coffee. So I thought, so many say, this is my reply, and so many say warmth helps with mobility, and so many people move abroad because of it. And I said, look, stable and healthy weight loss is a time investment. Some things some don't accept, or deal well with, and perhaps it's a bit like giving up smoking in that it's not going to work until your mind is set and you've accepted this is it, and it's going to be worth what it takes. So there's no point, if you're going to go in half cocked, then just don't start, because you're just lining yourself up for that failure at the end. If you're not committed to saying, I'm going to do this whatever it takes, even if I get miffed with it, I'm going to have good days and bad days, unless you've already set that in your mind, you're just going to give up, and then you're going to be disappointed, and then you're going to have a go at yourself, and you're going to come off worse, right? So I just thought a way of looking at it's right. You've
Yeah.
got to be mentally prepared for these things and know that. And you've said this to me so many times that it's not a quick fix. It's not a short-term goal. It's not a short-term win. It's a change, and a
Yeah.
change you have to accept it as a change
Yeah, you're
going
right. You
forward.
know, we talk probably a lot about things like motivation. I'm motivated to make the change. So it's Sunday night tonight, and I'm motivated to go to the gym tomorrow morning, first thing at 6 o'clock. And then the alarm goes off at 6 o'clock. And where is my motivation now? The only thing you've got left now is discipline and consistency. That's all
Or a
you've got.
snooze, or a snooze button, right?
And don't ever press the snooze button. I tell you, honestly. And that's where my gym regime would be. Alarms going off on my watch in a subtle vibration, and then I know 2 minutes later in the other bedroom the alarm's going off with a lot of noise, which would wake an eater off, which is a fate worse than death for me. So,
So
so
you've got to
there's my
get there.
discipline. Yeah. So I'm up now. Yep. And I'm off to the gym. And that's the thing when when you listen to me mum and we talk about consistency and discipline over a period of years when we're talking about food, exercise, well-being, mindset. It's something you have to build. But I was talking to somebody this week and who just joined the gym, and they did one day this week. 2 or 3 days later, I'm feeling really sore. It's my body telling us I should give it a rest. And I'm like, no, push through the pains. Push
Got it.
through.
You got to push through them, yeah.
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 So, that I said, give it 2-3 minutes when you're in there, loosen up, some loose starting, a bit of walking on the treadmill, and you won't feel those aches and pains. Just get on it.
You should either warm up or warm down, depending on who you ask. I did do
Yeah.
some research on that and whether you should warm yourself up beforehand, and a lot of experts say, look, there's little to no benefit to warming up. However, there are some proven benefits to warming down, to getting rid of any of the lactic acid and whatever else and stuff that gets into your just making sure that you have a warming down method of gradually winding yourself down into a relaxed state, and before you like
Yeah.
how a lot of these people use rollers and things on their
Yeah.
muscles and that sort of stuff, or go for a walk, go on the treadmill to warm yourself down, and just start maybe quick but then wind it down to a slow
Yeah.
walk before you
Half,
leave.
half a dozen naproxen and some paracetamol, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Just get back in the gym.
Get the
Yeah.
syringe out.
But it's something else I was thinking about going to the gym, especially when you're in a busy work life, and if you go at the end of your work shift or whatever, and you've ran over your shift, and you've got that mindset, well, there's no point in going because I can't do my hour now. But get in your head that even 30 minutes or 15 minutes or 1 minute makes a difference. It makes a difference. It might not seem it. So I got in this fixed mindset that said, well, if I can't do an hour, there's no point. Because,
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can't do what I've agreed with myself, there's no point. But if you go and even do a few minutes,
Yeah.
the reward in your head that you've committed, and you've at least done something, was unexpected. I still felt like, yeah, but you bothered. You got off your arse and you went. Yeah, you only did half of what you meant to do, but you did it though, and you've
Yeah.
kept it going. You've kept it consistent. Yes, it wasn't the full hour. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But that was something I had to learn though. Something I didn't expect.
A lot of people, let's be honest, sometimes money, especially after Christmas, money's a bit tough and people can't afford to join
Yeah.
the gym and, whichever gym you prefer. But even when I've not been in the gym for a few years, but even when I was in hotels, when we were working away and doing bits, 20 minutes in the morning when the alarm went off in the hotel room, doing a bit of shadow boxing, a bit of, jogging on the spot, waking the person up below me, but that didn't matter. And just something you can. There's no. You find a chair in the hotel room. You can do some light press ups, sit ups. You can do. It's anybody that says I can't is just making an excuse. So you can do exercise anywhere. You can do it in the bathroom. You can do it in the bedroom. You just, You're just getting active when you start. And then the thing about, doing even 3 minutes of shadow boxing in the morning, yeah, 3 minutes, and then going and getting a wash or a shower, you just feel better. You just feel better, you know. Um,
Part of
but
it's a psychological battle as much as a physical one, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, we were talking beforehand about what number should we be looking at in terms of weekly exercise, and we can get in the definition of what is exercise because it's quite broad. But
Yeah.
we sort of looked at the NHS guidelines, didn't we, on
Nah.
what
Yeah, 150 minutes per
yeah,
week, so 2.5 hours. And they recommend 2.5 hours of walking. Actually, drastically reduces your chance of various heart conditions and cancers.
yeah.
Statistically, drops your likelihood of getting these things in a measurable way. And 2.5 hours. You could easily do 2.5 hours of walking, couldn't you? Across the week.
I mean,
Even
I,
if you include walking around the office and walking to the train station or walking around Sainsbury's or walking around Aldi or whatever.
I mean, you can't see mine, but I took the dog out for a walk today, and I'm at 9,454 for today.
Jesus.
So that was a simple little walk with the dog. Hit me 10,000 steps today. That is my exercise done. I don't need to go to the gym or
You
anything.
can you can do around 2,000 steps just walking around the supermarket.
Yeah,
As I found out, it's
yeah.
around about 2,200 steps, depending. I've even stopped being obsessive about doing all of the aisles in order. I make myself go all the way to the freezer aisle and then come back just to get those extra bits in. So now I'll wander around the shop instead of efficiently going here, 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 shop done, out. Now I just have a plod about deliberately, and I'm coming out with about 2,500 steps. So I'm warming up towards my big step back into my weight loss, not weight loss,
Yeah.
getting back to the life change that I'd made and since abandoned. So I'm getting back to that.
I saw Connor this morning. He when he dropped the dog off, the future son-in-law, and he was talking about he's on a calorie controlled. He's counting, so he's doing MyFitnessPal. He told us he made a bit of a mistake and he was on 1,500, and I was like, whoa. So he's adjusted it, and now he's upped his calories, which is great. But we talked about exercise, and on MyFitnessPal you can add it on, therefore you can eat more calories. And he said, he was like, no. He said, I'm just ignoring it. And I said, that's good because it's basically banking calories, which is good.
It is. I mean, I hooked mine up with my watch because the Samsung app hooks into the thing and it tracks your steps. But it is a risk that you go, ooh, I've done 250 calories worth of walking today.
Let's have a Mars bar.
So, and I was determined not to. I felt more of an achievement by going. Not only did I end up 150 under my target, I've done enough to get me 250 in walking calories. So I'm 350 under. So I was aiming for a calorie deficit. I knew my metabolism was somewhere around the 2,000 mark. I was aiming for 1,500. I did another 250. I was about 150 or 50 underneath me 1,500 target. So by the time I'd kind of balanced it out, I thought I've done all right there. Done all right if I can keep going, because I had a pound and a half target, but I was floating between half and 1.5. And if as long as I'm losing summit and I'm not plateauing, I shouldn't be complaining about it.
No.
Because it can be depend on what my week's been like. So
Yeah,
and
I
it
remember
worked.
in terms of the
Worked
different
nice.
exercises you can do. Obviously, you've got a multitude. Whether it's running, walking, dancing, bicycling, strength training, washing your car, gardening, sleeping. Sleeping burns calories. Yeah. So, but the thing I worked with Nathan a few years ago, a fitness trainer, and he really completely changed my perspective. I was a cardio guy. We talked about. I used to ride my bike in Thailand like for
Aye,
miles and
aye.
miles, thinking I could earn a few pints to drink. And he completely killed that myth in terms of how it was affecting me. And he got me completely converted to strength training and changed my body shape. And I didn't do any cardio, no cardio. And so he one of those myth builders was about you must be sweating to do any good. It's just a load of rubbish, in terms of, whether you were on the treadmill, whether you're doing the cycling, or whether you're doing the rowing
That was
machine.
one of my questions. That was one of my questions.
What was the question?
It was more sweat equals better workout. Is a
Rubbish.
myth.
Yeah,
It's a myth, isn't it?
yeah.
Given that everyone sweats differently, everybody's body temperature is different, everybody deals with the way they cool off entirely different. The amount of sweat's got nothing to do with it.
When we were in Germany, I used to go to the gym after work, and you just keep reminding me there was this bloke. He was clearly very, very huge, or had been very huge, but he used to be on the cycle when I got in, and seriously, there was a puddle every time he was on the cycle. He used to push himself that hard. There was a puddle round him. I'm not lying, a puddle. And he was so horrid that he didn't clean it up afterwards. And he still
that's
wore his baggy big clothes. And,
It's unacceptable, that shit.
just
I mean,
horrible.
I always used to, whenever I'd been on like a cross trainer or something that I'd had my hands on, or I'd been on a bike, I'd step off, and there'd usually be, because it was Nuffield that I went to, and they always had a stand where there'd be some tissue and one of those disinfectant spray bottles,
yeah.
just, lined up around the room, and I'd just go up and pick one up, tear a piece off, spray the thing, and just wipe it down. Just because I think, well, especially when you've been sat on those hard seats and you can just see where your arse has been. You've just got that patch on the when you've really been good. Because I used to do a bit of HIIT training and that as well, so
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely hammering it. So I would just go and clean up after myself because, well, it's a bit
Oh, yeah.
respectful, isn't it? I don't want anyone else. I would hate to think that no one else is doing it and I've just sat on someone else's filth, you know what I mean? So I would just wipe it down. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to leave something visible like that, you don't just leave. You've got a visible
some of
puddle
the-
where you've been.
Oh, some of the meatheads that used to be in the gym when I go, they just didn't care.
Aye.
Yeah. All brawn and no brains. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about the
Yes.
gains. It's all about the gains. The gains with a Z.
The
It's all about the
DOMs.
gains.
Go get me DOMs in. Which way's the beach? That way.
Aye, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's some. So average weight person. So let's say whatever. It doesn't matter how heavy you are. 30 minutes of exercise will burn in calories. So running, and I'm not talking like Olympic runners. 280 calories for half an hour. Walking, 130.
That
Dancing,
sounds about right, yeah.
100. Bicycle, 250 depending on speed. Strength training, 110. Washing your car, 160. Gardening, 160. Sleeping, as we said, burns 22 calories per half an hour. So you're having a bit of a workout even when you're asleep. And 10,000 steps a day will burn you approximately 340 calories. Yeah.
Ah, it sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's a couple of numbers because doing a little bit of exercise per day does not allow you to have a chippy tea. It's complementary, isn't it, to your calories? It's just part of what we do. We don't go to the gym and say, right, I'm going to chippy on the way home.
That
'Cause-
leads me on to this. That leads me
Go
on to
on.
this other myth. Exercise does not make up for a bad diet.
No, yeah, 100% agree.
I knew you'd love that one.
I love that one.
Does
yeah.
it? Doesn't,
Yeah.
does it?
No, the problem is that I remember. Can you remember when we were kids and we used to go to the baths, swim baths with school or whatever? And when you came out the swim baths, you were starving, weren't you? You had to go to the
Aye.
tuck shop, get the tuck shop,
Aye.
and it was
Oh,
just
straight to the vending machines.
yeah,
Straight to the vending machines to get a little bar of toffee or something.
yeah,
Aye,
and
straight in.
because we've been exercising, we're burning calories, we naturally feel a bit hungry. And little did we know that we were just piling crap into our systems, weren't we, at the time?
Yeah.
And having having an apple or a tangerine or a banana ready for you when you finished at the pool would have been better. But we've had to learn that.
Oh, I used to go weight training with one of my mates.
Yeah.
back in the day. First thing we did was, because we used to do it in town. Do you remember? Do you remember where the Farmer's Rest was? The pub in just next to Haymarket.
Not really.
Oh,
No.
there was this gym in town. We went in there, and then next door to there was this Greasy Spoon chip shop place. So every time we went weight training, we came out of there, went straight into this place, sausage and chips, because we thought, well, we've earned it, and you should eat after you've exercised. But yeah, but I didn't think to sort of plan what that would be. Like now, it would be something along the lines of a banana with its slow release calories and whatnot, and I'd chuck something a bit more nutrition based in there than anything, even if it was just a piece of protein, just something protein based. Hide that in, because I know that would take some time to burn off. There'd be plenty of calories in it. It would last me a while. Or even I don't know, a shake of some kind. I know some of the guys that used to like their protein shakes afterwards, and they would have it prepared, ready to go. So while they're on their way home, they're busy tipping this straight after. I never gave it much thought, but it might have made a difference had I given it some thought.
Yeah,
But
refueling after exercise is probably really important. Otherwise, you go for the crap, don't you?
you
go for the
do,
crap.
because your brain goes into starvation mode, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Go, I need stuff and things. Put something in your mouth, and then of course you go straight for the calories, don't you?
And I like the quote you made there about exercise does not what was it does not
Make up
substitute
for a
good-
bad diet.
Yeah. So a couple of numbers there. One was a baked potato at 260. So for half an hour running is basically a baked potato, or a Mars bar, a 51 gram Mars bar. It's 228 calories. So you're not getting much to be able to put in your scoffer when you've done 30 minutes of exercise. You've got to be really, really careful.
Yeah, and there was times, and I used to go out with the folks. Are you coming out? We're gonna go to the such and such, and we're gonna we'll get burgers or something, right? So we'll go to a pub, and I started viewing things in terms of to demonstrate. To me, I was making an argument with my mum or something about something. Oh, I'm just gonna have this. Do you realise the calories in that? That's the equivalent of an hour and a half of walking. What? Shut up. I'm like, well, think about it. That Mars bar you've just said is 200 odd calories. Now, how many steps did you say? Or what kind of exercise would be like? An hour on the bike?
10,000 steps is 340. And an hour, half an hour on the bike, where it's 250.
So you're approximately a Mars bar
Basically, yeah, for half an
for
hour.
half an hour on a bike,
Yeah, and
depending on the speed.
Yeah, no, I mean even these these protein chocolate bars. When you look at the content on the back, you're like, wow, you can't have too many of them. Well, it's healthy. It's
It's healthy because it's a protein bar and it's targeted at that audience, so it
yeah,
must
it's got
be.
protein in it, so it must be good for you.
You've
Well,
made an assumption.
yeah, you haven't looked at the other ingredients. It's full of carbohydrates, full of processed sugars, blah blah blah. And if that's your after work, I mean,
Aye.
don't get me wrong. I sometimes after workout, you might, if you've not really prepped, you feel a little bit lightheaded. You need something. You
Yep.
shouldn't put yourself in difficulty when you're trying to drive home or go home. So, but as long as it's something that you know what you're putting in, you know the value of it.
Yeah, you've accounted for it.
Yes.
It almost doesn't matter if you've accounted for it. You can have that Mars bar if you want, but as long as you know you've just spent
Take a
200
pizza
odd
with you to
calories
the-
on it.
Take a pizza with you if you want for after the gym. Who am I?
Yeah.
If you want a Domino's pizza after the gym and you accounted for it, you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, yeah, go for it, yeah.
Yeah. You get your stuffed crust there.
Meh.
Yeah. We talk about you mentioned some of the benefits of exercise. What was a couple that you mentioned there?
Aye, so shall I run through me list of myths?
Yeah.
So we've got things like muscle does not. Muscle turns into fat. It doesn't. They're two entirely different materials.
Yeah.
Two entirely different substances in your body. One's protein, one's fat, right? However, not exercising can cause your muscles to atrophy, can't they? You can lose muscle mass over time when you
Yeah.
stop exercising. And because you're not exercising, you're gaining fat. So causation and correlation are not the same thing. So just because you gain fat and lose muscle mass, it's not because one's converting to the other. Cardio before weights, not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily. I mean, you just said before, I did all weights and no cardio. So the more sweat one. Low intensity exercise means you burn more fat.
No.
It can do, but it's all about metabolism. So you can target where you burn your fat from.
Oh, that's the
No.
biggest one. So, want a six pack in a day? Right. Do some
Yeah.
sit ups.
Well, you can target muscle groups, right? So you can target an exercise that always triggers a certain muscle, but that doesn't mean the fat's going to come off in the same place.
No.
In fact, your fat may come off in a different place to mine does first.
Yeah. I mean, I know from
It's all about your body, isn't it?
my own experience, the last place it came off was my stomach, and I had to burn that away through diet to then reveal the benefits of the exercise I was doing. They won't
That was
show up
under-
until
that
you
was
get rid of that
underneath.
fat. Yeah, it's underneath, it's hiding, and that's where you mentioned before about the the visceral fats and sort of
Yes.
the hidden.
Yeah, some people are overweight, but you look at them and they don't look fat. You say, well, that's because some people build visceral fat, fat that surrounds your organs on the inside before it appears under your skin, as a pot belly or what have you, or bigger arms, legs, whatever, or a bigger ass.
I carry a lot
can-
of excess fat in my nether regions.
Big ass, or big
Oh,
balls.
thank you. Clarity. Yeah, that's what we need on that. Yeah. As my wife calls me now, flappy cheeks.
Flappy cheeks. Aye.
Yeah. I lost so much weight off
Lovely.
my bottom that I now have flabby skin round there.
Lovely.
Yeah, just thought the viewers.
I
would know
didn't.
that.
I didn't think. Do you know what it is? I don't remember you being that big. But then, of course, we went our separate ways, didn't we? When I left Germany and you went off to Thailand. So,
I save them, when I meet people.
oh, you got that big cardboard cutout as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I took that on a few excursions with us, just for a bit of fun. But sometimes it's hard to say it, but you know,
See, that's
that's one. That was a night out. We went to that all eating Brazilian.
yeah. There was that. Yeah, yeah, with Julie and Brian and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and that's
that's a
what
big red rosy face, that isn't it?
that's a blood pressure face, that one.
Yeah.
And that they're the other things, So when you look at things like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and then we can come on to the mindset thing about depression, and then obviously, unfortunately, things like dementia.
Well, what would you? There was one other. There's one other myth that I couldn't get a solid opinion on, and whether it was a myth or not. And I've been told this many times that it is definitely a thing, especially when you're intensively training. So if you're weight training, for example, this is something you should build into your routine, and that was recovery days. Your body needs time, because when you're weight training, you're breaking apart sort of
Yeah,
various muscle fibers. So you're breaking them down, and they're going to build back stronger. So you need a day off from doing something intensive like that to allow your body time to recover, to rebuild. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly sort of because exercise does some amount of damage, but then it repairs back stronger. So I was always
Yeah.
told, make sure you have a recovery day set aside. So you might do 3 on, 2 off. But maybe it's on those 2 off, you're doing cardio instead, or doing some steps or something else. But if you're
There was-
doing weight training, you should
there was
build a
a-
recovery day in.
I mean, basically, to increase muscle, what you're basically doing is tearing the fibers, aren't you, for them to recover. That builds muscle, tearing the fiber to rebuild. Now, Nathan would implore me to sort of have 1 to 2 days off a week, but the other thing he would say was, we're targeting muscle groups on sessions. So we're doing upper body, back, arms, and legs on separate days. So, in theory, upper body, front, back, torso, legs. You're doing different muscle
So
groups.
right, so they're already being left alone
Correct.
anyway,
Yeah, we know they're sort
just
of
to some
interlinked.
degree,
Yeah, they're interlinked, but
but
yeah,
but
you
not intensively targeted. So
no,
technically, you're giving them a bit of a rest,
yeah,
even when you're working on. So this is why some people will have an arm day, leg day, shoulder day.
yeah.
So they'll be sat, their legs aren't moving, but they're doing it all in their arms, and vice
Yeah,
versa.
and that's how they'll probably justify. I mean, to be fair, for probably a year, maybe a year and a half, I was doing 7 days a week, um, and but it was targeted based on what Nathan was telling me to do, and with the muscle groups that weren't being sort of done on certain days were getting the opportunity to sort of recover. And I loved it. I mean, I'm at the stage now where I don't, because I'm working on the house, I haven't done any gym activities per se for 3 months now, and I noticed
Oh
a difference.
yeah, oh but yeah, I mean yeah, you're up plastering ceilings, walls, carting stuff up and down stairs, installing and ripping things out all day every day. So I mean,
Yeah, because when we talk about mindset, so I'm not going to the gym, but I'm happy exercising. I'm a happy exerciser because I'm up and down and I've got something to sort of show for it. But you cannot get away from, there is, what are we, when we exercise, we're releasing a chemical, aren't we? So endorphins, whatever you call it.
endorphins, yeah,
Yeah. So releasing endorphins, which are the good
dopamine.
vibe things going on in our head. And so even I think I was even reading that the cold showers do similar thing. They do that
Yeah,
release.
the what's the name of the vagus nerve? So
So I cannot underestimate how much better I felt when I was doing some form of exercise, and how I still feel that now, even though I'm not doing exercise per se, but I'm working on something, and I feel good about feeling tired. I feel good about feeling tired. Yeah, my sleep
it's
improves.
an
My sleep improves because I'm tired. It's circular.
aye. So you're actually ready to go to sleep
I got. I,
because
uh,
you've been aye.
Anita couldn't believe it. I actually had what we define as a lie-in this morning, so I got actually 8 hours this morning, and I was working tough on the house yesterday. I was doing some bits, and I got an 88 on my sleep app last night, which hasn't happened for a few weeks, because I've been struggling with sleeping because I've got some pains in my arms. But I got an 88 last night, which is like top 1% of sleeping. So the fact that
Oh, so
you're
you must have been pretty motionless then, and in some
Yeah,
deep sleep.
yeah. But it's the bit about, doing. I mean, I've done some heavy sessions this week on plastering walls and ceilings, and that having a proper night's sleep with recovery. So I'm getting to feel good, sleeping well, eating well, and it's like this continuous circle of
And then
feeling good.
you get all the psychological boosts that are associated
Yeah,
with all of that, right? Yeah.
yeah, and you probably know yourself that when you're heavy at it in the office like that and not getting out as much, you probably sense a little bit, in terms of how maybe it affects your mindset because you're not getting fresh air or whatever. I, that's why I went for a walk today. I needed some outside because I've been stuck in the house for 7 days. I need some outside activity, just walking.
No, even for me, even though I'm an indoorsy person, there are times when my brain refuses to write any more code, and I'm just
Yeah.
sat there going, I can't think of this. I can't think of this, and then I eventually cave in, put on my shoes, and think, oh well, I need some milk, I need some bread and some. So then I'll just go,
Shopping exercise. We talk the aisles.
come back,
Yeah.
and The number of times, and I often forget that this happens afterwards. The amount of times I come back and my brain's reset, and the thing I was struggling with, I have this sudden epiphany going, "Oh, that's it. If I do this, and then right,
Switch off for a while, come back into the
yeah,
room.
just step away. Yeah,
Yeah,
back in the room.
back in the room. I
Back in
love
the
that.
back in. Look at the
It was,
eyes. Look at
it's
my
Little
eyes.
Britain, wasn't it? Yeah.
What's that? My
You will pay
brilliant
for the
eyes.
bill. Yeah. Not around the eyes, not in the eyes, around the eyes. Yeah. You will pay for the bill.
Yeah.
But the one thing I was thinking about, because obviously I wasn't really a gym goer, and I got moved into it, and I really loved the gym. But what you should really think of is, what do you like, and what do you like to do that you can fit into an exercise program? So if you like, swing your arms in the air, then that's what you should do. If you like country walking, if you like walking your dog, find the things that you like that you can incorporate into your sort of exercise thing. It doesn't have to be the gym. Doesn't have to be.
No, no, and the number of sites I saw on my travel that are just all promoting walking because it's the simplest thing, lowest cost, simplest thing, and all it involves is putting on your shoes. In fact, not even that. You could be walking around the house, do some
Yeah.
cleaning,
Yeah.
or like my mum does. She's obsessed with gardening,
There you
non-stop
go.
gardening, and my dad
Yeah.
washes the car about 9 times a week. So
Well, you look at that alone. Yeah, doing something in the garden that you enjoy, doing half an hour, 45 minutes, having a rest, cup of tea, glass of wine, whatever you do. Not glass of wine. I shouldn't have really said that, but then going back to it, doing something else, and seeing the result. That's basically continuous exercise, isn't it?
it is. So I think the mindset that I eventually got out of was that exercise sounds like a thing. Like, well, no, it doesn't have to be a separate thing, like gym or a specific. I need to get on a bike. I need to go for a run. No, you just need to get off your ass. It's as
I mean,
simple as that. Stand up and walk about.
Don't call it exercise. Call it mobility.
Aye.
Call it whatever you want to call
Aye.
it. It's just if you think about wild animals, and when we were in the caves and what would run round and try and find a saber-toothed tiger, and then we'd have a bit of a rest, and we'd probably live long and productive lives. The bottom line is, if we don't exercise and we eat a lot of stuff, we're going to put weight on and we're going to die earlier. That's it.
That about sums it up.
Yeah.
Complications,
Or you'll get,
tablets.
or you'll get dementia. Eat your Domino's pizza and you won't even know you're eating a Domino's pizza.
Aye. Have you ordered that pizza? You've just had
Huh?
it, have you?
Huh? I'll have another one.
So we ordering a pizza then? Well, you mean the one you've just had? Have
Yeah. Yeah.
we? Aye. Aye.
So yeah. Well,
Aye.
I mean that obviously we're getting towards the end of January, and the ones that have basically stuck at it and will keep going for a while, the ones that are sitting there reflecting now and now got an annual membership at 25-30 quid a month.
Aye, those loose gadgets were right. They were right, in that episode.
Yeah.
They were right. I've got
Yeah.
this gym membership I'm not going to. In fact, they should be commenting down below and telling us. I need to know how many people have done it. How
That's
many of you
it.
have got them ones? Are you still going? Why are you not going?
Yeah. And what's going
you do
on
it?
in your life that you think something else about ordering a Domino's is more important than living to be a ripe old age? What's going
Oh,
on
if-
in your mind?
If it was written on the box, right? Eat this pizza and minus 2 days.
Oh, I love that. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? This will cost you 2 days.
Yeah.
Would you eat the pizza? You bloody wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, would you?
You wouldn't. And, on the flip side of that, there are no bad foods, just bad maths, as we keep saying. But,
Yeah.
if you're having
There can be
pizza
bad
every
effects.
day-
There can be bad effects, like you were talking about complex carbohydrates and
yeah.
the swelling on your joints and that kind of thing. So there'd be bad effects, can't there? But
Yeah. I keep saying it.
but like
know
you say, it's mostly bad maths.
It is, and I'm here for the long game. I'm not here for the short game. So when when the weekend comes around, that's not my signal to order a Domino's, a Chinese, or an Indian. It's not my signal.
No, and I've never understood the sort of Friday, let's get smashed. I need to wind down.
Yeah.
You wind down, do you? Right.
Well,
We've spoke about that. We spoke about that more
exactly.
than once.
You're getting 2 days off to live your life and be with your family, and a lot of people just want to get smashed and not remember the weekend.
Aye. But it's amazing how people phrase things
Yeah.
to justify them, to continue doing it. I need this. I need that. I'm going to do that. I need to go out and see this.
I need. It's making me weird, relaxing. I just take 4 shots of heroin, 27 pints, and 13 kebabs.
I just need to dance, Mark. I just need to dance. I need to go out and dance
Yeah.
and get smashed
Yeah.
in the process.
And then on Monday I've
puke
got
in the
no
street.
money.
Nah. I've spilt all my chips in the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Put onions on that. Said the
And you've
sex-
been nasty yourself. And you've got their moments. Is it the sexist? Aye. There's many truths in that cartoon.
Oh yeah, brilliant cartoon.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. No, and you'll have to live with it, so or not. But it'd be an interesting thought to just have a cost in hours or days written on the packet of everything that's not good for you. This will, and conversely, there'll be healthy stuff or stuff that has no impact will have 0 days or +2 days written on it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the length, though. It's about the quality of your life as well, isn't it? So you want to be 100, but you want to be aware that you're 100 and still having quality time at that time of life as well, don't you?
Yeah. If you get the chance, watch an episode of Joe Rogan, and he's got this this
I dip in and out of his stuff all the
clinical
time.
scientist that actually the way he was eating and living predicted the day he would die, and
I've
that
seen that stuff done, aye.
shocked him into changing his life.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
I bet it did. That's
And
why I
the
don't want to look.
changes he was retested on how he's living now, and it's again predicted his new date for dying. And that's what you're basically talking about in there, the shock factor.
Sometimes.
Because we're all going to die.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
The amount of people that say it, I say to them, I said, well, I'm going to die. I'm just trying to be here as long as possible. And they go, oh, you can't talk like that. You can't talk about dying. I'm like, why?
Well,
I'm going to.
two things are certain in life: death and taxes.
That's it. Yeah,
That's what they say, isn't it?
it is. Yeah. Never mind.
Stuff's going to cost money, and eventually you're going to kick the bucket.
Yeah.
Comes to us all. Me, I plan to be immortal.
Is that mortal or immoral?
Immortal.
All right.
Immortal, or this new term I heard was amortal, which is where you can be killed but you don't age. So you're not the Highlander where you can be stabbed and you instantly heal. It's that your body doesn't age. I was watching this thing on Is Life a Simulation, and it talked about all that sort of.
Yeah.
It's amazing the stuff you can see on YouTube these days. So
Yeah, that's it.
that was all me myths. I think I covered all the
Well
did
done.
cover them all.
Well,
But it was an interesting series of 3,
Yeah.
and I think we've kind of gone full circle on, or at least covered each step of the way, and it's interesting to see what people comment and how it affects them and stuff that people have bumped into who've watched the episode
We could
and the
sort of
things that
plan
they get out of it.
we could plan some episodes ahead. I noticed in the shops, like, we could cover Valentine's love in February. We just need
Ooh.
a couple of others.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one, aye. Yeah. Well, maybe just need to revisit our spreadsheet
That's
and
it.
refresh the list. That's going to be worth doing. There's a couple of things I've done lately about bad services, mostly because I'm picking up after some bad IT people. So it might be an interesting topic to talk about. See what other people have experienced in terms of ethics, especially when it's a small business and people, and risks. And the reason why so many people have been switching over to me lately and the bad stories they've got to tell about stuff. And yeah. Well, we'll have to have a sit down and build a new list.
Yeah.
I imagine if we went back to that original spreadsheet, we've covered a good amount of it. Way high. Valentine's is a good one, though. I wouldn't mind sticking that on. But so Facebook, Insta, drop some comments, hit some likes, some follows, YouTube, some subscribes and some comments on there. Leave them where you like. We'll read them all. I'll get back to you as well. I always reply to them. Leave me own thoughts on the things that have been said. There's been some cool ones on there as well, especially from your mum. She's left some really good stuff. But until next week, take care.